says we're live.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to
So,
So we're live?
how's it going?
Oh wait, that's not us.
That's us right here.
Okay.
But I'm trying to figure out.
Trying a new, what is this, a new streaming service?
Yeah. Some.
Trying a new, is this a new streaming service? Any chance?
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Let's see if I can see it.
Let's see. Arizona Steve's here. I can see him down here. How's it
Sweet.
going? Scanes is here. How's it
Hi,
going,
Scanes.
Scanes?
Okay. I'm trying to see him.
How's it going, Scanes?
Oh, I thought it could.
Let me see.
It's like 3
Up.
comments.
And then get out of all of that and see if that helps. Okay.
Well, I can hear you.
Do you have chat?
I do somewhere.
So you just gotta go down. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Alright, let me turn up the sound.
Okay. Now I think we got some kind of technical worked out. So I'm trying to use a streaming service so that we can try to share a little bit more with you guys than just sitting here talking. And so I'm hoping that that helps. Can everybody hear us okay? And Half Bubble Off Plum, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Just want to make sure that everything's good.
I could hear you when I turned the volume up.
Okay, good.
So,
All right, we'll give it a few more minutes. Okay.
yeah. You gonna go through your slideshow?
Yep, I just want to make sure that everyone's in.
Everyone's in.
Oh, look, see?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's Marsha Newsom. Hello, welcome
Hello,
in.
hello.
Scans Girl says, me and the dogs are snuggling. Are you staying warm? I hope so. It's chilly and rainy out.
Her dogs actually want the food.
They just want my dinner.
Yeah. Not your dinner, Staines' dinner.
Yeah. Howdy, Steve. And hi from Arizona. Hello, how's the weather out there? You and Arizona Steve out there today. We had kind of an interesting week this week. It has been sort of funny, all the things that have kind of gone on. We started out...
Well, the weather was super warm.
The weather was super warm, super great. But I wanted to show you guys that we actually had... This was our new turkey. We named him Prince Charming. But this is Tom, and he is enjoying our 75-degree weather, and it's not 91 in Arizona, as Arizona Steve said. My mom said that it's chilly and rainy, and it is the blazing ball out here. Yeah, I know. But this is Prince Charming, and he's very handsome. He is not at all like my other animals where, like my turkey that I raised, he doesn't want me to touch him.
Not yet.
No, and he doesn't like the dogs at all.
He's getting used to them.
Is he?
Yeah, I noticed that today.
Good.
He wasn't freaking out.
Maybe if he knows, like, they're not gonna try to kill me.
Murphy was hanging out and ignoring him, and he was kind of ignoring Murphy. So.
Good. Good. So this is our turkey Tom, with our hen Jenny. And let me put her back up here. So she thinks that she can just come and go out of the house. And so when I was packing, you can see my suitcase there. When I was packing, she was coming and going from the house and looking for those bags of worms. So what I'm trying to do is get her to want to go in there with him. And she is just kind of like, I'll sleep in there, but then I want to be let back out.
Well, and I noticed tonight she was hanging out in there, and he didn't really want to go in. He was just out in the run while she was in there because it was raining. It started to rain. And
he doesn't
He was like hanging out in the rain, and she was wanting to keep dry.
Right. And my mom says she can come and go.
She's a free bird. Tell them the story, because you just got back from Arizona last week, but tell them the story about... Oh, that's number one on your list.
Yeah, so that's why I started with all of that, was because she came up missing. It was Friday morning, and I went outside, and I mean, she's to the point where I can say, "Ba-bay, ba-bay," and she comes right up to me. I mean, I've seen her pop out of the bush and come running. And she wasn't doing that. Dana Green, welcome in. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. We're just talking about my turkey Tom and my hen Jenny. And so she came up missing Friday morning, and I was just, I knew that when she didn't come, something was wrong, because she comes to me like methodically. And so I was super, super upset, and like I'd already started crying, and like I'm just going to mourn her and get over it and be done with it, because I love her, and I shouldn't love her this much, but I do. And
I heard you yell for her for a little bit.
Right.
And then she wouldn't come, and then I was like, well,
you were still in bed, so I came in and
early.
Said, she's missing, and you're like, you didn't even go look.
Yeah, because I thought she was down the way. I saw her the other day. I don't know if she was nesting or whatnot, but she was tucked under a tree. And anyway, so
I came back and I said, I've looked, and
so I got out of bed, I got
missing.
dressed, and I went and looked everywhere. I looked where I had cut, because I thought maybe she was foraging in some freshly cut.
Well, you said you even went back to Teacher's Corner.
I had caught her back there a long time ago with the guineas. They were going on an adventure. And then they ended up coming back up, but I looked everywhere. I looked way at the front where I saw the guineas, because I thought, well, they're hanging together, so she must be up there. And then I thought the neighbor had her. So I went and looked over there, and I couldn't see her over there, so I texted him and said, hey, my hen, I can't find her, and if you see her with your birds, because a couple of our hens liked this place better.
Well, and all the while, he's outside going,
yeah.
And so I'm like, can he see her? Does he know where she's at? Like, what is going on? How's it going, Life Done Free? Welcome in, Tag.
Hey.
And then, so I had called my mom, I had called B. I'm like, look, my hen's gone. I'm gonna be, I'd seen Joe walk to the property line. He went back to Teacher's Corner.
I was gone for a while.
Yeah.
No sign of her anyway.
Nothing, not a feather, nothing. And so our silver-laced Wyandotte came up missing this week as well. And then we had a dead guinea at the bottom of the tree. And
so she counted her gone. She was like, she's gone.
I'm like, third bird, third day, she's gone.
But.
Well, right. We hear a chicken, because we had started setting live traps. I'm like, we find a dead guinea, something's going on. We started setting live traps, and the next thing you know, Joe goes out there. I'm like, there's a chicken in the trap. We got to go get her out. And he goes out there, and he goes, there's Bebe. And she pops her head up, and I'm like, I've never been so excited to see an animal in my life.
Yeah, she came back.
I don't know where she was. Well, then B says to me, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me, when Pippin just told us that March and April are the breeding months, and I'm just like, it didn't even occur to me, and B said, I bet you she has a nest somewhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I bet she does.
We haven't found it yet.
I have not found it, but I did call her name today, and she pops out of the bush way down there, and I thought, I'm going to go down there and just take a peek around and see. No, she was with the guineas, and I don't think she would just squat down and lay an egg right there in front of the guineas.
No.
I remember with the nests we found at Bees, they were like secluded. Like, they don't want you to find their eggs. They're not like the chickens. Like, the chickens will just lay one right there. Skid steer, Polaris.
Are you going to tell me your live trap story? Or are you going to pass on that? The live trap?
What, that we were advised to set a live trap? And
Which I was doing. I was setting a live trap. I had 2 of them going. But Jessica thought I needed to put...
No, she said physically put a live bird in there and set a live trap. That was, I could read you the text message.
Okay, because I was like, that's what I'm doing, but I'm not putting anything...
We're putting marshmallows in there because they
alive in
attract
there.
raccoons.
Yeah, but I thought you wanted like a sacrifice, like a...
No, she was saying like set it
Bird.
up, like set it up and be ready to kill the animal.
I thought it was funny.
Not the chicken in the cage, but to kill the one approaching it. Like that, you would bait the animal in because you know it's coming back. If it's been killing
But
your
you would have to
birds,
sit and watch it, wouldn't you?
that's kind of the point, Rambo.
Yeah, I'd rather just
Yeah.
catch it alive and do whatever you're gonna do with it. I don't
Well,
know. Anyway.
So yeah, that was our story with that. But then the skid steer broke this week.
Yep.
And we went down to the pond, and
You have a little video of that?
I had taken the picture of the pond, and this was, oh my gosh, this is way down. Like, the pond used to go up.
It's pretty much dried up.
Yeah, he was able to drive the skid steer. That's how it broke. Why don't you tell that story?
Well, there was a lot of logs and trees and stuff in the pond, and I've been wanting to clean it out for a while, and so it was dry enough that I could walk in there without getting mud on my shoes. So I went and got the skid steer and figured I'd scoop a lot of logs and down trees and dead stuff. Well, there's like an inlet that goes to it because it's, kind of at the bottom of a bunch of hills, but it was just almost like a beaver dam, but it wasn't. It was just a ton of down trees, and there's that big, I don't know if you can see it, but it's that big creepy hedge tree. It's huge, and anyway, clearing everything out, tried to get it. I started smelling something funny. It was hydraulic fluid. I stopped and looked. I couldn't really see anything, but I could hear it coming out, so I hurried up and drove it up out of there, and she's parked right on the side, and it's not as bad as I think. I think it's just a hose. I think it's just a bad hose, and it's just getting to that hose and pulling it off and replacing it, which I couldn't do today because we got rain today.
And you took some video of that, so I'll put that in the video this week of
well, just kind of troubleshooting, and because it was different, and I thought it was something else, and I prayed about it, and it wasn't. It doesn't seem like it's as bad as I thought it was originally, which is good.
Oh, I'm so thankful.
So, but the story will go on probably when it dries up, probably this weekend, if it's dry by this weekend.
Yeah, we're supposed to get rain all week, so I don't know. But yeah, so some of the things that we've been working on was we went in and started working on finishing up the front entrance to the mudroom. So this is, as you walk in the very front door, this is the ceiling up at the top. And so where that black bracket is, he's going to hang a shelf that goes all the way across the width of that. And that's where I'm going to put my plants and starts for right now until I get everything going. But this was this was just the insulation and getting everything shiplapped. And then so we also, this was where he got up and worked this weekend and got up into that loft, and we insulated and shiplapped that. And then, of course, the story goes...
Is that a picture of shiplap? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the back part. The story goes you run out of boards. And so
Well, we ship out so much, but yeah.
yeah, so we're kind of in that spot. Skeins, they were putting chemtrails in the sky all day yesterday.
We saw them at night.
And there was ones shining at night,
At
and
the
they
full
were
moon.
literally
Yeah.
flying, spreading it at night.
Yeah, that was fun to see.
So yeah, getting that stuff done was major because those are things that we've really needed to get done.
Yeah.
And then
So we're what, 16? I gotta get 16 more boards. I didn't count it right or whatever, but so we'll go get those, and that'll pretty much be finished, other than some trim work here and there, and
thanks, Arizona Steve.
the floor.
I like the shiplap because it's really finished. If you
Easier
look,
than drywall, I think.
and you don't have to do, unless you're gonna paint it, like you don't have to do anything else to it, and so I like it. And actually,
There's no mudding, no sanding.
well, yeah, and I was looking at my friend B's house last night, and she had like put a clear coat on the cedar boards. They were like cedar looking shiplap, and it was beautiful. And I'm like, what did you do to that? And after putting up the pine, seeing the cedar like a real red look, it was really pretty. But either way, we have got eggs. Chickens are laying again. This is just 10 days of eggs, 9 days of eggs.
We're getting about 20 a day, roughly, if I
Yeah.
can find 20, because they're laying them everywhere.
And I feed them to the dogs. We eat them, like anything that I can do. That's definitely something, but that's a blessing. Like, right, here's money in the bank to me. I like that. So some of the things that I've been focusing on this week is I really, really wanted to get my plan going, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not.
I can kind of see it.
But this is for cool season, and then I was looking really more at the warmer,
Oh, that's your layout.
warmer season vegetables, and looking at my companion plants. I dug out my book from Arizona, my
Oh, tomatoes love carrots.
yeah, I
something
think
like
it's
that.
something like tomatoes love carrots, but it's really good about my companion planting. And so what I wanted to do was I just wanted to have, I think Sissy needs
Come on.
to go out.
Come on.
Go on, sis. I just wanted to start laying out my garden because last week I talked about how I was going to end up removing where the chicken coops are, and instead of like trying to till or do anything, I'm just going to go straight down into the mulched area and start trying to garden there. And so some of the things that I put was I started by actually making a list of what I wanted to grow this year. And I started thinking about all the things that I've grown in the past and what did we actually start to eat. Because this is, like our friend Tag says, we need a garden this year like it matters. And so that's kind of like, not
Garden
necessarily...
like it matters. I was thinking it was grow like it matters, but it is garden.
Garden like it matters. And
yeah.
so like I'm just starting to think like, what is it that we really would eat? What is it that I could utilize? And if I was to say I buy anything at the store, it's a lot of like salsa ingredients and things like that. And so I want to be able to grow tomatoes, and you have such a short time for cilantro and like coriander that you need to do it sooner than later because it's more of a cold weather thing. But this was nonetheless my plan. So we have a cattle corral up in the front of the property that obviously we're not corralling cattle. And it's like a pin and hook type system. I'm going to take all of that down and I'm going to square in, I being we.
I was just thinking, I'm probably going to be taking all that down.
Once the skid steer's fixed, it will allow us to start setting up that area. And I would like to get this garden going. And so I just started kind of using my companion planter and trying to think of what could I use and utilize. And so I have sort of a plan to surround it by flowers and different things, but I was reading that if you have a problem with rabbits, to spray it with emulsified fish guts. And that's something that I use on the garden anyway.
Yeah. Actually, Marshall built that wagon for your mom to use.
It's like a solar sprayer,
the
a
solar
wagon.
sprayer that you use, basically diluted. It's I think it's called Alaskan fish
fertilizer.
And so
Yeah.
super good. Good high nitrogen, obviously, and it helps out. But I didn't know it'd keep rabbits away because
Well, and then one of my
stinks.
my friend
Horrible.
B was like, "Hey, why don't
Super
if you could
smelly.
put it on your potatoes to keep away, rabbits, could you put it on everything else?" And I'm like, "I do put it on everything else. I love it in the garden. It won't burn your plants. It's not hot, so when you put it on there, it's a very natural, organic fertilizer. And, funny, like I was reading in this book and they're like, you wondered why when you used to read in history books that why the Indians would plant a fish under their corn stalks.
That's the way to do it.
And so I was just thinking about that it would be really helpful. So Arizona Steve says potatoes go with those eggs. Well, one thing I learned in this book.
Do you have potatoes on your list there? I can't see.
No, that's what I was going to say is that I cannot put potatoes near my tomatoes and other things because it actually hinders them. So the potatoes and the corn are going to go out in the swale. They are far enough out there, and the swales are about 100 feet long. I mean, if not longer. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I was just thinking, how many feet are in a mile? 5 tomatoes.
Okay, so
Wait.
if I put the potatoes and the corn
go ahead.
on the swales, then I will keep them out of the garden, and really they can stay sort of out there. The way that I did potatoes with my friends last year, and I saw it be successful. That was really the only way that I could explain it. Was he tilled almost like a mound and a swale for them. We planted them, and then when it came time to harvest, he just kind of like dug that, like flipped that swale over, and we just picked potatoes right out of it. And it really helped. Marcia says that she used that sprayer for that fish emulsion, and it works great. Well, since it sat out.
Yeah, the hoses have little holes in them, like it kind of got
weathered,
sun rotted or whatever. But.
So we have some maintenance that we need to do on it. But I told him that was actually one of my goals, is to get that sprayer going again. Because B has a little like Kubota with a trailer, and we actually set the Polaris up where my parents bought a trailer for it.
Yeah.
And I could be using that in the same manner as the Kubota.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where I just put all my stuff in there, because the swales, like if it's each one is 100 feet long and you're tending to that, you've got to have stuff with you, and it's a long walk back, forth,
This is going to be more close to the house though, so that'll be
this
nice.
particular garden is in my zone 0.
Yeah.
It is right outside my back door.
Yep.
Like I can literally, which is how I think I will maintain it the best. So, anyway, that was kind of what we had going on, and what I had been thinking about was getting out some of the things. So I went out and dug out my boxes of seeds, and I've got bags and boxes over here that I need to go through and just kind of deliberately put in place. And then the big question is when to start planting, because our weather is so crazy. We had like falling, it was like wintry mix of rain and snow.
Yeah, ice falls and snow. But I was going to think that your seeds are super organized.
Well, and yesterday.
But the weather should be. I think we're out of it. I think we got the worst of it, like this week. And
well, it was 65 yesterday, and then to be 38 today, or 33. When we woke up, it was like 19.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's like you forget that you even turned the water faucet on outside, and you said, "Oh, I hope it didn't freeze," because it's like you forget that you needed to turn it off, because it just keeps going back and forth. Where I think the birds are confused. We have a couple broody hens that like have not wanted to get off their eggs. So, and it was over 70 on Friday. That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, my sweatshirt, I made it farm life. So anyway, this next week we have got the skid steer is probably our number one priority, and because we have rain, I think Ryan Hall said we have rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. It's gonna make it hard because that skid steer is down there by the pond.
Yeah, I'll probably get it the weekend. I don't realistically see me going down there before Friday.
Right. Plus you have work this week that
Yeah, I got a lot of work, so.
you're doing. So yeah, so that's gonna be our big go-to, and then once it dries out, we'll be able to go get some more shiplap. I don't want to go get pine shiplap when it's raining like that. So all of that gets put on hold.
Wednesday's gonna be a busy day.
Right. Yeah, so Wednesday we have the big town hall meeting for our county that we've been working on. You
So
won't
it'll
be
be
able
fine.
to get back up the driveway tomorrow unless it's frozen. I don't think it's supposed to be freezing tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be rainy. If you need help with anything, Skanes, just please let us know, okay?
Yep.
Joe will be at work, but he can always
I can
try
come
to
over.
assist. Yeah, he can
Yeah,
always try to
whenever.
assist when he gets home, and he gets home about the same time you do. So let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
We're literally a rock throw away.
yeah. So this town hall meeting is going to be very interesting. I'm really impressed with the level of knowledge that our community is displaying by the questions they're asking.
And organization, they're very, just a bunch of smart people. So.
Well, I appreciate it. It's
Yeah.
good to see it come together. It's good to see the people actually,
Be excited about it.
well, and want knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not. It didn't come across to me in as attacking of a way as I first thought by reading some of the questions, and after you sort of digest what's happening and you see once they're categorized, because we basically put out a public survey and asked people to kind of vote on what they thought was most important, came back with those topics, and then submitted questions in the second round of what we wanted to know as, locals from our commissioners. And then we're going to have an open talk with them. And I think it's going to be very productive. I'm hoping to learn a lot about the professional setup of this. And I hope that we get to do this again. I hope it isn't just a one-time thing, because I think that there's a lot of growth that can happen, and you can set a lot of example for surrounding communities that are also going through a lot. And what started all of this really was the high taxes. Like, I think everybody just got whacked across the face with like super high taxes. And I wouldn't say everybody, but
Well, there was other
majority.
things going on too, but yeah, I mean that was, and I think that was the number one on the survey, the number one topic. But it was also, solar. The town a few months ago went through the solar bit, which we thought was dead. We thought we kind of stalled it enough to where they were going to put some solar farms in, but come to find out, it's not dead. So we'll learn more about that too, I think.
and what that means for our community, what that means as a whole for all of us, and not just us, but for our generations to come. And, Joe and I kind of took an approach to get knowledge. When you're uneducated so long about something, and then you find out actually that you've got skin in the game and it matters, and you have a voice, and it helps because, like we were talking about today, the power in numbers. And the power in being able to yoke up with people and saying, hey,
you don't know what you don't know.
Right. And when you've been told so long that you don't ask questions, that's not the forum you're in, that's not really the area of your expertise, so you don't
just
get
stay in
to
your lane, do your job.
Exactly, go to work, pay your taxes, do your thing, consume.
And be a good battery for the system.
And I really think that this is an opportunity. Like Skane says, we're going to have to raise the battle flag. I think we are. I was very impressed. I walked away from last night's meeting really looking forward to the questions that we're asking, because it seemed as if we were seeking answers for the right reasons. not to come at them and attack them, but
Yeah.
to build relationship and try to figure out what's going on.
Seek to understand.
And I appreciated
Nothing wrong
that
with
because
that.
it's hard to be part of a new community and think that it's one way, and then you come in and find out that we're a year and a half into it and it's
2 years.
changing.
Yeah,
Right.
about
And
2 years.
it's changing. Not quite. July will be 2 years.
Yeah.
So
So you're gonna run? You're gonna run for like city council or anything?
no, I'm
I
not
was
that.
thinking about it. Well, you know, after watching
I sure hope Tag's
my
listening.
buddy Randall.
I sure hope Tag's listening. This was on live.
Hey,
like
you know,
there's proof here.
I'm not a politician. I don't have any experience. I'll probably do great.
Probably would. Well, what it really is, and this is what I love about seeing the people that are getting involved, is that it is just being willing to say, hey, I can take that on. I can try. Everybody that's taking a part in this has some role. I mean, even if you're holding a microphone.
Hey, man, I'm good at that.
And it's a good thing
good
to
start.
be involved. That's right. And I think it's great. So I'm excited to see that's Wednesday.
You gonna help out with some other stuff there, maybe?
Whatever
about
needs
that
to be.
later,
Whatever needs to be. I felt though
Fill
on
in where you
that.
fill in.
Skane says I feel though on that the change between the decision to move to actually getting here had been huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I think that a lot of it is that you make these decisions and then you don't realize how much it impacts everything that you're doing.
I'm glad you're here, Scans. That's for sure. Is that what you meant?
She
That's
says,
what I meant.
I feel you on that. The change between the decision to move and actually getting here had been huge. Well, and then you make, like I said, you make these decisions because you think it's one way. And I'm still hung up on this chicken coop. So I don't know about anybody else, but when you think you can build a chicken coop and then, you know, kind of goes back and forth on that. And I'm still trying to figure out, well, what does it mean? Do I get a building permit for a 200 square foot chicken coop? So, and you almost hate to ask because, you know, just tell me where to find it in writing.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of really good questions, like Joe said, everything from solar and energy to taxation to property rights, you know, things like that. And so I just really wanted to educate myself because now that we have something that it matters, you know, we're not just renters, we own the land. We want to, we think we own the land. We want to try to be the best stewards to our community too. There's been a lot of very impressive people that have emerged that can write letters, that can formulate really poised questions in a way that brings forth accountability. And so I'm excited because as a former teacher, like I think it's super, accountability is what I'm all about. I think it's important that people can answer for the decisions and choices they make, and you know, we want a better community, and all we're trying to do is grow food without being penalized.
Yeah.
You know, and
Keeping it simple.
right, and build buildings to keep ourselves, you know, in a healthy state on our land that would help our animals and what our businesses are doing. And I just think it's crazy that we moved from the city to get away from this kind of authoritative, controlling way. And I feel like our commissioners have made it feel like that our county, they are overseeing it as an HOA. You know, like we put a couch outside to throw it away, and it was out there one day, and we got a $150 fine from the HOA.
It wasn't even a couch. I think it was a futon from my cousin, and I was like, hey, I'll help you out.
And we're literally throwing it away.
I set it on top of the garbage can, and because it wasn't hidden or it sat there longer than 24 hours, they fined me. And I was so upset.
You talk about being madder than a wet hen. That was
I
me.
Well, yeah, you were.
You're a wet rooster.
I wasn't.
I was so mad. I'm like, it was literally one day and we're throwing it away. It's not like it had been out there a weekend, a week, whatever. And so I just feel like that they are, you know, self-appointed HOA Nazis. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is that it's like Tag said that their whole, well, and I think one of the commissioners said that his whole job, his one purpose was to collect taxes. That was his whole reason for being a commissioner, was to come after people for their taxes.
And maybe, I don't know, I could play devil's advocate. Maybe it was misunderstood, because if you think about, like, it's his job as commissioner, but, you know, get taxes. But and maybe, you know, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. So I think maybe he didn't mean it like, I'm going to try and collect as many as I can, but his job is, hey, I've got to, you know, have a budget. I got to, in order to do that and pay for things, we got to collect taxes. So,
have you ever been to one of those
spoken.
tourist towns that are really quaint and kitschy?
A bunch.
And super cute, and you think, oh, I could picture myself living here. There's a reason I wanted to bring my family here.
Yeah.
That you got to have that kind of stuff if you're going to act that way about taxes. You have to have a desirable place. And I just don't feel like coming across the country back and forth, I couldn't tell you, there's countless numbers of dilapidated towns, of ghost towns, empty pancake houses, empty gas stations.
Tons.
I mean,
all across the country.
And you wonder what happened to these people that ran these businesses, and where are they now? And do those towns, that was income.
And what I think it was the industry that was in that town, and a lot of it's all exported out to China and whatever else over, you know, the last.
And it could be anything. It could be
30 years.
As much as like Remington just closing their plant. They didn't even outsource to another country. They're just closing.
Was that in Arizona, in Prescott? Is that Remington, or is that?
I was just thinking about the gun company that ended up just closing, and then it's like those jobs in that community are just gone.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and Skane says Louisiana's full of them. Well, Arizona is too, and the price of property isn't cheap. Anyway. And so then it's like it's a dilapidated, like, I think of like Wickenburg. And I think of, like, you know, these towns that are like
old mining towns,
ghost towns.
They did really well for a while, but yeah.
But what is there now? And then now no water on top of it.
Yeah, New River was struggling with water for a while.
So I don't know. It's just funny that you move out of the city to try to escape it, and it's like, oh, we're gonna be free, and then you realize like you're fighting the same fight. It's just in a different location. But now, I will say, you know, having a tiny little lot that wasn't even a quarter of an acre.
No.
To having 80 acres.
Well, they don't even measure it in acres. It's in. They just
it was in feet.
In square feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And to go from that kind of where like our backyard, it wasn't feasible to grow enough food. If you were relying on our backyard in Arizona to supply our food, we wouldn't have been able to grow enough food, much less because you don't have the access, like keeping chickens. That was hard. We had 5, and we got 5 of them, and 4 were roosters. You can't have a rooster in the city.
Well, in Glendale, you're allowed 1. I learned that as a realtor. You're allowed 1 rooster.
Not in Glendale.
Phoenix.
Yeah, I was going to say not in Glendale because my parents.
No, Glendale you're not. Phoenix you're allowed 1.
Well, and it's not just solar buying up and grazing land, or buying up the grazing land. It's also China. Bill Gates was buying a ton of farmland.
Actually, Tag was telling me he just bought a bunch somewhere for solar farms too, or something like that.
And who knows what he's using it for. Yeah. But just the fact, and then we were learning that in Kansas, and I don't know if this is everywhere, but in Kansas, when those solar farms come in and do that, they have a waiver, and they don't have to pay tax on that for 10 years.
And usually they do something weird before that 10 years even. They either file bankruptcy, it's like a
skirt it to another company.
Yeah,
right.
They sell it and move on and do it over and over, but...
So who knows? I mean, all I know is that we're trying to educate ourselves for the right reasons, so that we
Wednesday
can
should be fun.
Be a contributing source to our community and for ourselves to try to figure out what we can do to be better.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to just act like they are so evil and horrible, because we do have to have some kind of I hate to say like governing board because that's not it, but we have to have somebody who can sort of mitigate the influx and the incoming and outgoing of our taxes. We have to have somewhere because we're gonna pay taxes unless that goes away and the
Yeah.
whole game changes, which I don't know how that's gonna happen. But we have to have some way and
Well, especially with all the digital ID, digital currency, and 15-minute cities. And I heard, the other night, this lady was talking about what was going on in Iran and how that relates to that, and these data centers monitoring the flow, and basically having the ability to turn off your vehicle and turn off your funds. And so
that your money wouldn't work within a mile of your house.
Depending on, to keep things contained. It was really interesting. So.
And this was an interview with Tucker Carlson. This wasn't some like weirdo.
It was, and when you start to put all the little pieces of the puzzle together, it starts to make sense, and it makes you want to grow food more and try and be self-sustaining more. But
and also contribute to others getting that knowledge and doing it themselves. Like, I really believe in it because, like you were talking about, having that ability to work within almost like a black market, almost within like a trading or bartering system.
Well, because there's always going to be that, if everything goes digital, there's going to be where people are still buying and selling goods and doing other things with other forms of fiat. They're not, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and nobody really knows. And that's the whole idea. Like we were talking about, too. Our whole lives, people have been saying, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. And I don't want to live in fear. I just want to be prepared. And what does that mean? Prepared. You can't possibly prepare for everything. But having a sense of understanding, like this last 2 years has taught us that we can survive with no electricity if we had to. Skeins, can I get a witness? Grow local, shop local, eat local, Arizona Steve says. And you try to do that as much as possible. But what I want to get away from is ending up at the Walmart, right? Like, because you can only do so much. And so if you can outsource your local community where, I know that a lot of my problem is not the space to grow it, but it's the hands, it's the man hours that it takes to plant.
Managing it.
Right, and weeding it and watering it and then harvesting it and then preparing it all.
Well, you think about, not a dozen eggs, but, you could think about a lot of things, whether you're buying a bunch of strawberries or tomatoes, and if you were to grow that, and like for our eggs, for example, is the trade-off, is the cost, because a lot of times it's, to me, I've seen it where it's kind of been break even, but a lot of times
but it's
we
the
haven't
quality.
Figured out.
It's the
quality
quality
is different.
If
definitely.
you look at
There's
the fact that you
garbage
don't
in it.
know what those chickens had, Addie was just telling us that there was a study done on those really expensive eggs that come in a black carton, that they had seed oils in them, that those chickens were being fed such junk that their eggs actually had seed oils in them. And that's not okay. Like, you're eating poison. And so if you actually start to consider, like, you don't know what those chickens are eating. They could be eating their own poop, and they are. They're not seeing daylight. They're confined. What they say is free range is not.
How is it? You want to be
because I don't want it shining on my glasses. It's like too bright lights on my glasses. But it's just realizing that what we've done in the last 2 years has really taught us to be self-sustainable in different ways than I've ever imagined. And it's not necessarily like we're totally self-sustainable and I could never go to the grocery store again, but it's taught me not to freak out.
Yeah, there's steps to get there.
Like a detox.
Kinda. Yeah, that too.
So this week we're definitely focusing on Lisette, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. She says you'll hit your stride and create jobs for farmhands just like Roots and Refuge.
That's awesome.
And that is a great thing because I remember when
good thing
Jess
to
said
speak.
that she wanted to not be like a consumer, but to actually be like a producer, and that was one of the ways was to create jobs. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. And we definitely talked about that. Like it's hard to envision it when you're standing in this large piece of property and you're like, what exactly are we supposed to do with this? But I know that out of all the land we looked at and out of all the things that we did, this ended up in our hands for a reason.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm excited to see kind of what...
God's got good things for us. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, we just got to keep on moving forward.
Yeah, and so once we get the skid steer fixed, we'll keep everybody posted on what that looks like. I'm trying not to be nervous, and I'm thinking good things about that. That the fact that you thought it was worse and then it's not. I'm
just speaking life. I don't know really what I'm talking about. I'm hoping it's better. It's not rusted hole, which I thought. So
that's beber to me. It's not a rusted hole.
It could be something crazy, but I think it's gonna be an easy fix.
Right.
And a couple buckets of hydraulic fluid. But yeah.
Yeah, so once we get that fixed, we'll be able to move into the phase of gardening. I know that some of our friends were doing.
Well, because not because we're going to really use it. I don't think we got to move all those chicken houses out of the area, and that's your fertile soil, your fertilized soil. But yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're not small. It's not like we can pick them up and move them without a force multiplier, which is stuck down at your pond.
But I'm not worried about it.
No,
it's done this
we'll
before, and we've gotten it fixed, and it's just part of it. I mean, this is what the farm life is all about.
You learn.
Right. If I had to say, it's your birds coming up missing that you absolutely love and adore, and realizing, it's part of it. Our silver and white, that black and white silver laced Wyandotte, she would follow you around.
Yeah, she was sweet, but I don't know. I don't get too attached to them like you do. After that first one, I got wrecked. The first bird that Sissy killed.
Because you showed it attention.
I thought it was sweet, and then after that, I thought, you know what, they're food that's living their best life.
I know, but I can't help. He could have. They could eat every other bird but my turkey.
I know.
So I'm grateful that she's alive, and I made him put her away.
Yep.
She gets put away in the sheep shed every night. I'm like, you're not gonna escape that.
She's sweet though. She is like a cat, dog. I don't know what you want to call her, but yeah, she's bizarre.
I love her, and I'm thankful I got to know how to raise turkeys, and that's something I never would have done in the city. I was skeptical even here to take a turkey on.
Yeah.
And I've actually grown to love them so much more. So I definitely think that, this week holds a lot of challenges with the weather because we have so much mud and then no skid steer. So it'll probably be about a week.
Yeah.
But
we're done. There's a lot of stuff to do inside still that I've got a ton of trim work to do, and there's some organizing of things because we still need to build a bunch of cubes to go up in that loft up there.
So our second loft that we have up above, so we tore out the one for our bedroom, and then there was a second loft. That is going to be turned into storage for all of my kitchen stuff, like my pans and everything that I need for kitchen. But it's really, really challenging because I'm extremely scared of heights. So we had an idea.
Yeah, we're just going to build a little, kind of like an attic ladder, but pull down ladder that'll get her up there, which I think you can do okay with that because you have something there.
I've used an attic ladder many times. Yeah. It's the being up and out, like on where I could fall, that really scares me. But yeah, I ended up going up there, and if he can put cubes all the way in like a square, I could stack stuff in there. And since, his friend Tag taught him how to build flush to the front.
It's his favorite thing to do is building cubes. I could attest to that. He's good at it. So
As long as it's flush to the front.
flush to the front. Gosh, I need that shirt. Flush to the front.
3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, skeins. There's a large flock of wild turkeys that like to occasionally play chicken flying over my car.
That's great.
If you give them freedom, they lose safety, just like us. Yes, I know, but there comes a point where I'm still trying to break Becky's birds that we got 2 years ago that have taught every other bird. Oh, no, not the coop, the trees.
Oh yeah, no, they don't. I mean,
there's nothing I can do about
I
it.
tell them all the time, I am from the government and I'm here to help you, and they don't want to listen to me. Those are the scariest words anybody wants to hear.
Well, and at some point you have to realize, like, I love it that they're out there foraging. He mowed and they've been out in the yard picking and ticking and
Yeah, they're having fun.
and I love it because it keeps them busy. Now I know we're going to lose some, but that's why you have the ability to breed and raise more.
Yeah.
You know, I just need to start getting the incubator going, and then that means birds and another reason to get everything going with the mudroom. So no one ever warned me that there would be flying turkeys. Oh, well, and Joe didn't want turkeys because he thought that the wild ones were representation of all turkeys, and he was like, they're mean. Have you seen them?
Well, when I was younger in Indiana, I couldn't get inside my house because of a wild turkey would not let me on my porch. And it was scarier than the raccoon that had rabies that attacked the car. It was tough. And so in my mind, you know, I had a stigma of turkeys, or you don't mess with them. And then all the turkeys in Maine, the wild turkeys in Maine were, you know, we didn't know.
Well, and I don't know about
Turkeys are
you,
great.
but he is really handsome. He doesn't look like he's going to hurt you.
No, he's super sweet. I go in there and talk to him, and I mean, he's just getting used to the new digs, and then, you know, he'll figure out what his role is.
Sally turkey phobia. And
It was. It's true. I'm not ashamed. I'm over it.
yes, he is our Prince Charming. So we're gonna put Tom and Jenny residence on the door of the sheep shed, because that's where we're trying. And B said that I need to take Jenny and I need to put her in with Tom, and I need to leave them. Yeah, I like the black one best too. And we had a black boy and he disappeared.
Yeah.
And so that's where I ended up with the white one. So thank you, Arizona Steve, for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thank
Good
you.
seeing you.
So yeah, I definitely have grown to love her. And then yes, you're right, Lizette. The eggs were beautiful, but this would take me a minute to process those. Like, there was mud all over them, and
Just a few of them.
Yeah.
But usually they're pretty clean when we get them. Cause
you're collecting
they
them.
have been, yeah. I haven't been letting them sit out there at all.
But
And yeah, the colors, the beautiful blue, and there's a really cool olive green one.
yeah, well, and I'm thinking too, I was half tempted because the silver laced had laid eggs in this, but I don't know, that some of them are longer. You want them 10 days or newer,
Yeah.
and you want to store them in a certain way with the big part of the egg up so that the air bubble has a place to
Yeah,
go.
that's right.
And I haven't been doing that, so we'll just start over.
Taking
Yeah.
the Phoenix in a couple weeks.
But anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for joining us this
Yes.
week. We will keep everybody posted. I have 3 videos lined up to put out this week before our next live on Sunday, so I will get working on those. And until next time, I hope this encourages somebody to buy dirt, not diamonds. We love you guys, and we're praying blessings on you all. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.